Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports, where we break down the latest Browns news and rumors for you guys. We got 3 topics on today's show revolving in the rumor circles of things, so we'll hit on all of those. It's also Super Bowl week. Can you believe that? Well, I can. And I can't believe that a team from Ohio is playing in the Super Bowl, and also Odell Beckham Jr. is also playing in the Super Bowl, and it's not the Cleveland Browns. Like, if I told you before the year started that a Ohio team would be in the Super Bowl and so will OBJ, had to be the Browns. Nope, it's the frickin' Bengals and the Rams. So, with that being said, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, if you want the Browns to play in the Super Bowl next season, then go ahead and like this video, because I don't want any bad karma. I don't want any bad mojo. I want to bring positivity into the Super Bowl gods universe. So go ahead and like this video to get the Browns to the Super Bowl next year. It's scientific. It's a proven fact. I wish. Okay, so let's get into the Browns rumors now. We got a couple topics on today's show. We'll look at Aaron Rodgers, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku. The way we like to do things here at the Browns Report is we like to use these things called Bernie heads. It's a bit of a scale of believability. So as you look at them now on the screen, they range from 0 Bernie heads, which is fake news, never going to happen, all the way to 4 Bernie heads, believe when you can take it to the bank, and we fall in between. So we like to use these Bernie heads as a way to try and read how accurate or how likely these rumors are. So the first one on today's show, Aaron Rodgers, is he coming to Cleveland? No, I'm giving this one Bernie head. It's barely got enough weight to keep itself afloat, but there was a little chatter about Rodgers, who probably wants out of Green Bay. I think he's going to get traded, and it's not sure where he'll go. But Rodgers was spotted at a youth girls basketball game in Columbus over the weekend. That's enough for me to be like, yeah, he's coming to Cleveland. Well, probably not. But he was in the area visiting his former teammate, A.J. Hawk, who played on the Packers with Rodgers. Also, I think one of the players Rodgers ranted about, that he was upset the front office moved on from too early in their career, which is just another sign that maybe he definitely does want to get traded from the Packers. And that's why the trade rumors surrounding Aaron Rodgers have been hot since another early premature playoff exit for Green Bay. And here's where I stand on Rodgers coming to Cleveland. It ain't happening. I would love to see Rodgers play for Cleveland, because even though I'm a Baker apologist and I've gotten some heat for it, we can all agree that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. And even if it's just for 4 or 5 seasons, I'll take that as a chance to win a Super Bowl, because that's more likely than Baker winning one in the next 4 or 5 years, but he ain't coming to Cleveland. So if you're hoping on that, if you're the one that spotted him in Ohio and down in Columbus, appreciate we got some boots on the ground trying to, lure him into the great Buckeye State, but it ain't happening. Speaking of the state of Ohio, the Cincinnati Bengals are in the Super Bowl, which is just the weirdest thing to say. So with that being said, though, who do you got in the Super Bowl? This is a tough one. No one realizes how tough Browns fans have it for the Super Bowl, because we got to pick between OBJ and an AFC North rival. And at some point, you kind of pull on your heartstrings a little bit and go, it is the Bengals, right? They never have anything nice happen to them, not like the Browns do either. But still, let me know who you got in the Super Bowl, Rams or Bengals, in the comments below. This is the pinned comment, so if a YouTube ad break comes on by, just put your vote in and then come back up when the ad is over. Next up on today's Browns rumors, re-sign David Njoku. The tight end is a free agent this offseason. I'm giving this one 2 Bernie heads. I'm somewhere in between 2 and 3 Bernie heads, but there's some hoops to jump through to get Njoku back. So let's look at the facts right now. The Cleveland Browns have $26 million in cap space this upcoming offseason. That puts them in the top half of the league. That number is going to fluctuate as teams make some cuts when the new year starts on March 16th. The thing with the Browns is wide receiver and edge signings will take priority over re-signing David Njoku. So if the Browns want to re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, and then they want to go out and make a big splash signing for a Devontae Adams, a Chris Godwin, or an Allen Robinson, and really back the truck up for one of those 3 guys, then there's no room for Njoku, because between Austin Hooper's contract, which is pretty big for one last year, and Harrison Bryant, who just outplayed a lot of people, outplayed his contract. And what do I mean by that? What you paid for Harrison Bryant, or what you're paying for him, and what he's putting on the field, you'd rather go with the cheaper option in Harrison Bryant. And sure, he's not as good as Njoku, but for $8, $9, $10 million less, you'd probably rather allocate that money elsewhere. And so that's why I think it's just too Bernie heads for getting David Njoku back. So with that being said, though, do you want the Browns to go out and re-sign David Njoku? If so, spam your Y's for yes down below. If you don't, done with the first-round pick from 2017 and just want to go a different direction, I don't blame you for that. Give me the N for no. Now, Njoku last year was kind of sneaky good. I think about that Chargers game where he just broke out, had a huge monster game, and you saw what was the idea of the first-round pick behind him. 475 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not tremendous numbers, but for Browns wide receivers and targets this year, yeah, pretty good stuff right there. Then you look at David Njoku's career, and 5 years in Cleveland, up and down. Got off to a goodish start, especially in 2018. Really had that breakthrough year that everyone was hoping to have. That's why you drafted him in the first round out of Miami. Then 2019, that wrist injury keeps him off the field for pretty much the entire year except for 4 games. 2020 is that's a tough one, right? That's the year where you go, okay, maybe Njoku's just not going to work out, but we pick up his 5th-year option because it's cheap anyway and don't have a better option, I guess. 2021, now we come full circle where probably has just a good enough year to make you go, yeah, let's re-sign him, maybe, maybe not. We look at the free agency pool for tight ends this year, and Dalton Schultz and Mike Gesicki, in my opinion, are the 2 biggest names. Dalton Schultz is going to get paid by someone. I wonder if someone's going to pay him and just do what the Browns did with Austin Hooper, where they read into 1 year and fell in love with him because of that. Njoku's 3rd on my list, Zach Ertz and Gronkowski, 2 veterans. I don't even know if Gronk's going to come back. I'm guessing not because Brady retired. But if I had to estimate what a David Njoku contract could look like, this is what I came up with. 3 years, $35 million, average of $11.6 million. It's just a hair below what Hunter Henry got last year from the Patriots because Hunter Henry was a little bit better with the Chargers than Njoku was with the Browns, but the cap is going significantly up this year, so Njoku could use that and leverage it to get a little bit more money than maybe what he's worth. I don't know. That sounds, somewhat accurate to me, but what do I know? I'm not an agent. Moving on, though. Guys, if you want to get a shout-out on a Browns Report, all you got to do is subscribe. So on my last show, just yesterday, I put out a little call to action saying, hey, subscribe to the channel, comment me, and I will get you guys a shout-out on the show. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's put the names on the screen here, Producer Trace. Jaron Ferguson, Blake Wagner, Beamer. I don't know how to say that one, so we're going to just call you CS. And then we move on to Jaden Manard, Carlos Walker. I don't think you're a new subscriber, but you know what? You always comment, so you can get a shout-out anyway. And then Shanez Ruffin Jr., shout-out to you guys. And like always, if you want to get a shout-out on the show, it's super simple. Subscribe, comment me. We love interacting with the audience here at Chat Sports. That's what makes us so unique and, in my opinion, so great as a YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that big red button, subscribe if you have not already. Let's get on to the 3rd segment of today's Browns Report. So the Browns trade Jarvis Landry. This has been in the talks for a little bit now. I'm going to give this one also to Bernie heads. This is not an easy one to gauge because it's difficult to go in the mind of Andrew Berry and see what he wants to do with his top wide receiver now that OBJ is left. We'll explore Landry trade options in a moment, but first I want to tell you guys about our awesome sportsbook partner, BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet, and use the promo code Browns125 when signing up, they give you a 125% deposit bonus. There is no sportsbook partner out there that's giving you this much of a bonus for just putting money in. If you want to put $100 in, they'll match it and then tack on an additional $25. Now you got $225 to bet on. I'm looking at some Super Bowl MVP odds here. I love the value you're getting for Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase. We've seen Julian Edelman won the MVP award not long ago. We've seen wide receivers win it. With Deion Branch for the Patriots won a couple years ago, a decade ago at this point. I just like, if you bet $100 on Cooper Kupp, for example, you're going to win $550. Or you can be like me, 'cause I don't have that kind of money just to throw around. I like to bet $10. So, keep my wallet a little light. But I like those two odds right there. Kupp and Jamar Chase. Good value right there for those two guys. Make all your bets at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. Let's get back to Jarvis Landry, though. So he's entering the final year of his contract, back when he signed that big 5-year deal coming over from Miami. And he's going to have a pretty hefty cap hit this year, a $16.3 million cap hit. Now, the Browns can save almost all of it. They can save $15 million by either cutting him or trading him. And that $15 million is a good amount. In fact, if the Browns did do that, if they traded Juice or if they cut him, they would go from about 13th in the current cap standings all the way to 7th. That's a lot of movement for Jarvis Landry, and that may be compelling enough for Andrew Berry to seriously consider moving on from, honestly, the heart and soul of this team in the last 5 years. A lot of people contributed to Baker, and I'm not saying Baker hasn't been a part of this turnaround, but Jarvis was there first, and so it's going to be a tough decision, and it's going to be a tough one for the fans for us to come to terms with. I go back and forth on trading Jarvis Landry because he's the heart and soul of this team, but he's also getting older, and he's coming off a bad knee injury. And if someone wants to offer you something and you can save $15 million, you have to pick up the phone and seriously consider it. So about a week and a half ago, I did potential trade destinations for Landry. Shook it up a little bit here. I think the Patriots and the Chiefs are still the top two places for him. You give Mac Jones a veteran wide receiver, and you finally give Patrick Mahomes a real wide receiver too, because Byron Pringle and Mecole Hardman just aren't cutting it for Andy Reid and company. Vikings, I tossed them in there because I thought if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, the NFC North is wide open. Minnesota, new regime. Michael Wall chips in a little bit to be the new contender in the NFC with Rodgers and Brady out. You get Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and Jarvis Landry together for Kirk Cousins. Could be a nice 3 trio right there. The Rams, I have at 4 just because if they bring back OBJ, maybe OBJ lobbies to bring his best buddy over. And then the Chargers at 5. Mike Williams, their second wide receiver, is hitting free agency. Keenan Allen's getting older. Maybe a new target for Justin Herbert. So with that being said, what pick would you want back for Landry if the Browns traded him? Personally, if the Browns traded Jarvis Landry, I would want a 5th or a 4th. If anyone wants to give me a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, by all means, yeah, then I'll do it and not feel so bad about moving on from Juice. But that's not going to happen. I wouldn't want to move on from Landry for like a 7th-round pick. He just means more to the franchise than a 7th-rounder. But he's also got a big cap hit, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough decision for Barry this offseason. I'd go with the 5th or a 4th. Let me know what you think down below, and we'll catch you later here on the Cleveland Browns Report.